My name's Ian. I'm a dad. I'm an engineer. I've done some business and you know, things like how come we're not using hydrogen to run buses? Like the lack of meaningful progress on climate change, the lack of big adoption, had been getting me down. And then I started learning about this molecule and what people were doing with this. So this is green uh, ammonia. So it's nitrogen from the air and hydrogen from water. Um, and so I want to take you through a little discussion about green fuel, buses, um, and sort of why I don't think we're seeing the rapid adoption, uh, and why that might make sense, but there's hope. There's hope that it could make sense very soon. Okay. So very quickly, green ammonia is made from green hydrogen, right? So you take green electricity, you feed it into a bath of water and electrolyzers, so where the current goes, it splits the water into oxygen and hydrogen. And you collect the hydrogen, you vent the oxygen, now you have green hydrogen. Okay. Now, but green hydrogen is not dense. Okay. It's hard to get a lot of energy into a tank. So what they're doing is they're adding another step where they take nitrogen from the air. The air is 78% nitrogen. They take nitrogen from the air and they combine it with this hydrogen over a catalyst. And when it combines to create ammonia, it's far more dense. Okay. And that energy density makes it much more economical to use. It's a liquid. It's far more practical, right? Um, okay. So ammonia, right? Uh, People talk about hydrogen. People talked about hydrogen for a long time. I mean, people were talking about hydrogen in 98 when I started school, right? But I mean, if you look at a graph of use of hydrogen over time, it's used in refining, it's used in making ammonia, and not much else. Okay, so most of the use of hydrogen is in ammonia, right? Now, are people stupid? No. Like there's again, energy density matters, right? Um, so one of the workarounds around energy density is efficiency, right? If you can extract, if you are more efficient with using the fuel, right? You need less energy in the tank to do the same work, right? Which is the point of a hydrogen fuel cell. So hydrogen fuel cell, it's like 40 to 60% efficient versus a combustion engine, which I mean, even an EV, sorry, not an EV, even a hybrid is like 30 to 40% efficient, right? So it will get you a lot more range using a hydrogen fuel cell rather than putting hydrogen into a combustion engine, right? And so how a fuel cell works is you have one half that's hydrogen, the other half that's takes oxygen from the air, and there's a proton exchange membrane in the middle, and catalysts and things. And rather than it combusting and wasting all that heat, it creates electricity. Okay, and then that electricity drives electric motors that drive the wheels. It feeds into a battery bank that sort of buffers that power. So, I mean, it's a nifty solution for lack of energy density. But let's just look at this in practice, right? So here's a bus. This is a real bus. Here are the specs. Okay, it's got a range of 640 miles. Again, because that fuel cell energy efficiency that helps it go that far, right? The fuel cell, it's made by a famous company, Ballard, right? and then it has a battery system that's much smaller than in a Tesla, right? It's got a 30 to 45 kilowatt hour battery bank, all right? So that buffers mostly it is fed from this fuel, and versus a battery bus, you can fill this fast, for example, right? So this could run 24 hours. I'm in Toronto. The Toronto Transit Commission, the TTC, runs 24 hours. That makes sense, right? Now, Ballard is absolutely top of the game in this space, but what is top of the game in this space, right? So this system that they have, their fuel cell, is rated for more than 25,000 hours. Sounds like a lot. Toronto buses run every day. They run 24 hours a day. So 2,500 hours actually only lasts for 2.8 years. Right, 2.8 years. And then the availability of it, the reliability of it is 97%. Again, if you get 97 on a test, good job, right? But let's look at this from a fleet perspective, right? The TTC has 2,100 buses, right? So 3% of them being down, that's 64 buses being down. That's a lot of buses being down. Or just think of it in your own personal life. Imagine your car wasn't available for 3% of the year, 11 days. These stats are not that impressive when you're going to run a fleet, right? And then so let's just line this up against other options. So hydrogen, they say, and I pulled this from Wikipedia, so maybe somebody's going to give you a different price, but they say a hydrogen bus is $1.2 million. An electric bus is 750,000, but a diesel bus is 330,000. So we're paying quite a bit more. Now, this hydrogen, yes, I mean, you still have the bus. Can you swap out the fuel cell? Sure. But let's just say the life is 2.8 years. That's not an electric. It's better. There's some that have run for 12 years, but they take 3 hours to charge. In Toronto, I don't know, could you run the bus on two? I don't even know how you would do that, right? We operate buses all the time. So a school bus, yeah, a school bus, probably you could do that. It's not operating overnight, but a city bus, and then compare that to diesel, right? It's going to operate for 18 years. And then, because I'm in Canada, we think about things like this. Hydrogen, it works quite well, right? Fills up fast and handles the winter okay. Apparently, they're not happy under minus 25 degrees Celsius. So when it's quite cold, but there's lots of cities that get down to minus 30. Not every day, but what happens when your buses won't work? Electric's far worse. Electric is not happy when it's cold. Imagine you have to recharge, for 3 hours, an extra 2 times in a day. How does that impact your bus scheduling? I can't even imagine. Diesel, diesel, once it's going, it's going to operate in the winter. So, just going back, um, you would think cities would be in a great position to, because because they maybe have some more money than an individual. They can do their own fueling, so they could do hydrogen without there being a network. You would think, but I mean, there's reasons why we don't see like, overnight massive adoption. And but there's still hope, right? I was on a call with these guys, and I just it's so cool. Cosworth is a famous engineering company. They've made really fancy engines for supercars and racing and all sorts of stuff. Um, so, they know motors. They have designed a generator, right? So it doesn't deliver power to wheels. Well, not mechanical power, it delivers electricity, right? Um, so not a fuel cell, but works like a fuel cell. Okay? But this is flex fuel. Okay, so you can put in diesel, you could put in gas, you could put in hydrogen, you could put in ammonia, you could put in, e-diesel or whatever, right? So you are going to future-proof yourself a bit. You're not betting on one availability, one green fuel. Okay, it's flexible. It's got the same output as that fuel cell, right? And the cost, I mean, they want this thing to cost like $4,000. So it's working in test vehicles right now. If you want to place an order, reach out to them. They'll sell you stuff. But like I think the future is coming, and that puts me in a better mood, right? So going through this analysis of thinking, so there are definitely great steps, right? Green fuel, use winds to split apart water, and now we have chemically captured green energy. That's great. An electric drivetrain, simple, right? Just, so many people talk about their Teslas. There's no oil change, there's no nothing, right? That's great. Regenerative braking. Think about all the energy we throw out. And the regen braking just makes sense. Everything should have regen braking. Things to get rid of, though, right? Oversized batteries. I am very hesitant about batteries. In a bus, it would go far enough that the carbon impact of the batteries would offset by the range, the green. So it would net out green, but still, it's a lot of batteries. It's a lot of mining. I really can't imagine many sectors of mining doubling and tripling. I'm hesitant about oversized batteries. Hybrid drive trains. I didn't really touch on it in this video. I'm sorry for dropping this at the end. I I mean, I think a Prius is mechanically kind of stupid. You, why would you have a transmission? Just feed electricity to your batteries and then have an electric motor. It's far simpler. I mean, that's how the fuel cell works. That's how the Cosworth system works. You know, I think hybrids, I mean, they have a reputation for being difficult to maintain and expensive. I wouldn't want a hybrid bus, right? Not a hybrid transmit like a drivetrain. Don't do that. And then the last one, low energy density systems. Okay. And this is sort of esoteric. I apologize, but we have tried and tried and tried to make fuel cells work because we need fuel cells to work for hydrogen to work. Because without the extra efficiency, we don't have enough energy in a tank to go anywhere, right? So it's this chain of logic that all starts with this low energy density system, right? We need stuff. Hydrogen has I think gasoline's like 36 kilojoules a liter, and hydrogen, depending on the pressure, is like 2, right? 36 versus 2. Um, and I mean, back to the batteries. Batteries are 1, right? So we have these huge, heavy batteries. Um, and yes, a Tesla is efficient, but it's efficient about moving around a ton of stuff. So anyway, there you go. Green buses. Uh, we've got them. They're expensive. They don't last that long, but we could have better green buses, I think. So it's not an idea to give up on. There you go. Have a good day.